In this lesson, you will learn how to perform a search in a PDF document. So now I know how to navigate through a document. I have this newsletter that we're going to send out, and we've discovered that one of the employees got the name of a pet wrong. So is there an easy way for me to find the name and change it, or do I have to read through the whole document?
Well, sure. So you would hope that any modern application would have some kind of a find function, and you would be correct that Acrobat has a find function. There's actually two. Let's take a look at the basic one first. Go ahead and click on that magnifying glass in the toolbar, and that brings down a box that says Find. Now go ahead and close that for a second. I'll show you one more way you can get into it. You can also press Control F on your keyboard or Command F on a Mac, and that brings up the same box. So for starters, let's look for Pet Department. So when you press Enter, it jumps to the first instance of that term. Notice you've got Next and Previous buttons. So if you click on Next, it'll go to the next place. And so we see Pet Department was in the title here. Pet Department's in the paragraph underneath it. Try Next again. There's another case, and Next again. So that was the end of them. So they found 3 cases where we had the words Pet Department. Now we could do the same thing with the name of your pet. So let's go ahead and take out Pet Department and put in the name that you're trying to find. All right, so there's Emily. Now what's it supposed to be?
Juno.
Okay, so you could just retype over Emily right there, but you notice we have a replace with in our find box, so go ahead and click on that. We can tell it what we want to replace it with. Good, and then choose replace. So it's replaced it for that one instance, so we can either click on Next to go to the next instance, or choose Replace Next to go ahead and automatically replace the next one. Go ahead and choose Replace Next again. And there was one more that it found and replaced. I think there's at least one more, so try it one more time. There, it replaced one more there, and again. And so that was the end. So now it's replaced all instances of Emily with Juno. Now, different than Microsoft Word, there's one big caveat with Acrobat when you're making these sorts of changes. If the font that was used in that document is not a font that you have on your computer, then Acrobat will have to replace it with a different font. So remember we talked about how Acrobat is designed so that the files will look the same as they were on the machine they were created. So it embeds the fonts inside that document to make sure it looks correct. But when you start editing stuff, if you don't actually have that font on your computer, it can't replace it back in with the same font. So it has to pick a different font. In this case, it worked fine for us. Now, in this document, this is a very short document. It's a 5-page document. It's pretty easy. That find was pretty fast. Sometimes you may have PDF documents that are hundreds of pages, even thousands of pages, and the search can take a long time. One way you can speed that up is you can actually tell Acrobat to put an index inside the document. This is invisible to the reader. They won't see it, but it'll help the search function work faster. So let me show you where to find that. Go ahead and close out of your find box there. And let's close out of our editing tool set by using the X in the top right. Good. Now, in the tools, we're looking for a tool called Manage Embedded Index, and it's not in our list of common tools. So do you see where it says Find Your Tools here? Click on that. Good, and as you start to type Manage Embedded Index, you can see it sorts through the available tools and finds the one we need. Go ahead and click on that. Notice it's telling us that this document doesn't already have an index. If it did have one, it would give us the option to remove it or update it. But let's go ahead and say we want to embed an index. Go ahead and click on that Embed Index button. It's telling us we need to save it before it can be embedded. That's because we've already made some changes to it. So go ahead and choose Yes. Pretty quick, and it's done. Now, the thing about the index is it's going to make searching go a lot faster, but if you make changes to the document, like if we had embedded this index before we went and changed Emily to Juno, then the index still thinks that there's Emily in the document. So we would have to come back here and choose that update index. And what that does is basically rerun the same thing we just did. If we find that we're making too many changes and it's too much of a hassle to come back here and update the index every time, then you can choose the Remove Index button to get rid of it. But for now, we'll leave it in there so you can choose OK.
So what exactly does this index do?
Well, without the index, what's happening is when you use that find function, it's actually reading through the entire document looking for that word. When you choose to embed an index, what it does is it compiles a list of all the words in the document and where they are in the document. On a small document, makes no difference. It's going to be the same speed either way. But if it was a very large document, if it was several hundred pages, then doing a search on that document could take several minutes before it finds the word you're looking for. If you embed the index, though, it'll be right away. It'll be instantaneous. So that's the basics of the search function, but in the next module, let's take a look at how advanced search works and some cool extra features you can do with that.
Great. The Find toolbar allows you to search a PDF document for keywords or phrases to help you quickly locate desired content. The Find toolbar also provides a Replace With feature, which allows you to replace a word or phrase with another word or phrase throughout the PDF document.